I'm definitely afraid of Simon Pegg, but I've always been afraid of Simon Pegg. He's a really intensely scary guy.
Sie denken, ihre Welt wäre sicher. Das ist eine Illusion. Eine tröstliche Lüge erzählt zu ihrem Schutz. Genießen Sie diese letzten friedlichen Momente. Denn ich bin zurückgekehrt, um mich zu rächen.
You were always very vocal that you're one of the biggest Star Trek fan when you got into the franchise. Has the original series or any of the older series grown on you since you got more involved in it?
The original series certainly has, and I feel like I understand now the dynamic, the archetype, the relationships between characters like Kirk and Spock. But I have to say that the truth is, for me, the reason that I love Star Trek now is because the cast that plays in the current film is spectacular, and I've come to love them in these roles. And the action and the adventure and the spectacle is really fun as well, but it really is all serving these characters that just make me laugh and make me feel.
I was a fan. I grew up watching the show and was very aware of it. So when I was cast as Scotty, it was entirely, the relevance of that was entirely clear to me. So yeah, I was a fan. I wouldn't say I was a Trekkie in that I didn't know every single episode and the cast list, but I was very, very aware of it all and knew it very, very well, more than the average person, I think. So I was excited. Alice?
I'm now a Trekkie, actually, in all honesty. There's so much to learn. Simon's making noises.
I'm not.
There's so much to learn from Gene Roddenberry because he's such a genius, and his ability to imagine a future as complex and intricate and full of its own language as this one is up there with great novelists and people who do great things. So now I'm a fan of his at the very least.
In a recent interview with Playboy, you said that Star Trek had to be sexy. I think that's fair to say, considering that in the old show they were really tight shirts. But sexy is okay, but why are there still no queer characters?
How do you know?
Well, I assume, you see the heterosexual...
It's very weird that you would assume that.
Well, I see heterosexual affections, but I don't see any...
We actually did shoot something that indicated that a character was gay in the movie. And like a number of things that end up not working out, we ended up not using it. But it's something that was actively discussed, along with 1,000 other things. But it was never intentionally removed. But I do feel like it is something that is really valid. In fact, it's funny, everywhere we go, people want to see themselves in the movie. So for example, we were just in France, and someone's like, so wait a minute. You got Americans, but why? How come there's no French? And I'm like, listen, we're an equal opportunity employer. The enterprise. The thing I love about Star Trek is everyone's included, but not in these two films. You are correct. Not everyone has yet been included, overtly in the show.
You mentioned the fandom. You have one fandom on your neck already. Now you've got a second fandom. Are you afraid taking on the Star Wars franchise now, and are you afraid of Simon Pegg, who's a really big Star Wars fan, as I think, and has he talked to you about and said, J.J., don't mess this up?
I'm definitely afraid of Simon Pegg, but I've always been afraid of Simon Pegg. He's a really intensely scary guy. But the excitement and the possibilities of what can happen in Star Wars vastly outweighs the threat. And unlike with Star Trek, I feel that I am a fan. But look, every fan is different. People are fans of different things. And it's very, very early in that process. So when we're further along and I'm back here, I look forward to talking to you about it then. But for right now, I can just confirm that Simon Pegg is really creepy.
Also, sollen wir beginnen?